Do it.
Alrighty. Hello and welcome to the Ultra Films channel. Ultra Films headquarters. We're here to talk about possibly the greatest superhero movie ever, Morbius. Oh goodness, sorry. I'm gonna hate on this film throughout this video, but we're gonna try and have like a decent conversation about this movie that doesn't
Not
just
talk about too much about it,
yeah. We're just gonna talk about our thoughts a little bit. I'm gonna ask him some questions because he doesn't hate it as much as I do, and I want to see what's going on in his brain because it don't make sense to me at all. I don't get it.
What?
But everyone has their own opinion, obviously, on this film. A lot of people are suggesting to go see it before you you cast your judgments on it, and like formulate your own opinions. While I think that's a great idea, I personally am pretty dang in line with the critics on this one, and I think it is an awful film. I've said this. I did a whole video on my other channel for my own personal streaming and stuff like that, where I talked about it for like 30 minutes straight, and I trashed the film, and I said it is horrible, the worst film I've ever seen for a comic book movie, because I never saw the Fantastic Four movie with like Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan. However, I don't know. Maybe that's
don't bother.
Maybe that's worse.
Don't bother.
But
don't bother.
This one's like just as low for me, even though I haven't seen that one. Like that's where it ranks for me, is like the worst comic book movie I've ever seen. I mean, obviously there's hundreds of comic book movies, and in the last few years there's been 30, 40, 50 movies that have come out in the last 20 years or whatever. Where does this line up for you in comparison to other films?
Horrible films wise, I mean, it could have been top there. I mean, we could also talk about the X-Men movies. The Dark Phoenix was horrible.
Yeah.
Days of the one with Apocalypse was horrible as well.
Yeah, Days of
Future
Past.
And I think the first one was the only decent one out of that series.
Okay.
And plus with what was the actress name that played Mystique?
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, she kind of refused not to wear the blue paint. She wanted to show more of her human side, which has nothing to do with the Mystique character. But yeah.
The X-Men movies were not very great.
No.
So that's like where you'd categorize them, is like, or categorize Morbius is like in line with some of those films, like
with those two films and obviously Fantastic Four
down at the bottom of the pack. Rough. Yeah. So obviously, like, I hate it. I think it's the worst of the worst. What were if I had to you had to list like your favorite or top 3 favorite things about the movie, what would they be? I can go first if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like my favorite parts of the movie were how well they did like the makeup and or CGI for like Morbius and Milo, for like their actual face looking like a vampire. Those looked really, really good, honestly, as well as like the fight scene choreography and CGI. Some of it was a bit too fast paced, but it was actually really cool to see like the super speed like fight sort of stuff, and like how they like had him jumping across buildings, all super cool. That was probably my favorite thing. I really like Jared Leto's performance overall.
Yeah, he did good.
He did really good. He sold the like crippled guy effect, and that like he was like this doctor who was like just trying to find a cure, and his like overall performance as Morbius and as this like monster and this man like coming to grips with being this destructive thing, he did a decent job with it, even though some of the lines were written corny. And then my if I had to do a third thing, it would probably be, oh damn, I don't know if I got a third. I don't know if I really do.
Maybe if you don't have to, that's fine. You can say just 2 things.
Yeah, those might be my just my 2 only things I liked.
For me, I think I have maybe 2 things as well, maybe a third, but we'll see. But what's it called? I mean, they did all right with him. Leto's performance was one of them. He did good. The character wise, they did make him look like an actual vampire where he
Yeah.
actually has to suck the blood. A little bit of his origin story, I guess his third was like, his origin story was not too bad at all. Could have been done
Yeah.
better, but yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's my three.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, no, one thing was like I thought was really kind of funny and dumb in that like opening scene with the bats coming out of the cave and like the trap to catch him, as he was like talking
Yep.
about how the vampire bats would like attack anybody, like when like later down the road in the film he was like, yeah, these bats, they would attack anybody else, but because I have their DNA, they don't attack me. But like in that first opening shot when he didn't have their DNA, they didn't attack him
Mm-hmm.
there either. So I was
Yeah.
like, wait a
Yeah,
minute,
that was weird.
that doesn't
That was really
track.
weird.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Um,
He pretty much like kind of like contradicting himself. I'm like, wait a minute.
you're like, wait, they didn't attack you earlier though. They attacked everybody
Yeah.
else on the plane, but because you were the one bleeding too, so that's what attracted him apparently. And they didn't
Yeah.
even come at, like there were bats flying around the trap that weren't getting caught, and then they weren't
Mm-hmm.
even focused on you. They just went. So that didn't add up. I thought that was a bit
Yep.
funny. Um, not that it's like the biggest issue. Um, I ultimately, the thing I hated the most, the actor that played Milo like did a decent job, but like
Mm-hmm.
his character and his like motivations as a character didn't make sense at all to me. I don't know how you felt about him. Um,
I think they could have found like a better Milo per se, but yeah, the character was like, I think they, from what I heard, they changed him a little bit from like the actual thing from the comics. But yeah,
yeah,
it could have been better.
yeah. I thought it was weird. Like my biggest gripe with it was like he got bullied once as a kid, and then
Mm-hmm.
he turned like as an adult he seemed pretty normal, like just a normal
Mm-hmm.
dude, and there was nothing like weird about him. He was just like a guy with the same disease, and then he got the cure that like turned him into a vampire, and then
Mm-hmm.
he just became a dickhead going around and killing people. And you're like,
Yeah.
what? For what reason? Like, and like, I mean, like obviously, like the like vampire urge is like part of that, but like he goes and kills Martine, and he kills his like father figure, the guy who ran this like the orphanage and the hospital ward that he grew up in. So it's
Yeah.
like, what's the point? Why would he do those things? And also, why would he fight Morbius? Like, why are they
Mm.
on edge? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It looked like they were friends for a while at the finish, but I guess he said that apparently whoever sits on his side on that side of the bed, they eventually die. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
I
I couldn't
understand.
quite
Yeah,
elaborate.
I understand him like wanting the cure, and like once he gets the cure, like yeah, great, you're healthy and you can like survive off the artificial blood or regular blood, and like you and Morbius should find a way to work together. But instead, he like gets Morbius framed,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't tell him about it, goes behind his back, all
Yeah.
things that like a good best friend wouldn't do. And I guess that's like the actually one other thing that I did really like, I talked about this in the other video too, is that scene where he leaves his cane and walks down the hallway just fine. That reveal was
Mm-hmm.
actually really cool how they did it.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. That was
but
weird.
like it didn't make sense why his best friend would like one lie to him even if he like really wanted the cure. Why he would lie? I mean, I guess the lying part is one thing, but then like to go and then frame somebody or frame him for murdering that like nurse, and then like
Yeah.
going out and like killing his like father figure and like this girl that he was friends with and was like helping get the cure and made and everything. It just like didn't make sense why he was like, I'm gonna kill them. Like
Mm.
he just became this like evil monster, and I guess that's
Yeah.
like the thing they're trying to hit home is like it enhances
Mm-hmm.
who you are, but like he didn't seem like that even like right before he got the cure. He seemed like just like a solid dude. And I don't know, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
much about Milo in the comics. Do you know anything about him in the comics?
Uh, Not that I read of or seen
Okay.
wise, but yeah, I don't remember too much about him. But yeah.
I'm like
Yeah.
wondering if he's like supposed to be like way more messed up and evil in the comics, and they like tried to do a lighter
Maybe.
version or something.
Probably, but yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know what they were trying to do there, because it just like
Yeah.
his whole motivation just seemed pretty flawed, but
Yeah.
I don't know. And then like another big problem I had was with Martine actually, because like she's obviously like Morbius's love interest, but they
Yep.
only like imply it that like there's some previous relationship going on there, and they don't have a lot of chemistry. Would you agree? Or I didn't think it.
From I thought they had some, I guess, but yeah, I may go with it. I didn't have that much chemistry. Obviously, she becomes a vampire as well, if I
Yes,
remember
yeah,
correctly.
she does. Yeah, at the end of the movie, she like opens her eyes because she like got
Yep.
like she like bit his tongue or something like that, and
Yeah.
his blood dropped into hers, probably mixed with her system, and then she got the vampire DNA through that or something.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
usually how vampire stories go.
Yeah. Like yeah, he did something. I think like bit, like you said, bit somewhere
Yeah,
between. Yeah, she becomes the blood. She becomes a vampire as well. So
yeah.
yeah.
I just like they didn't sell it for me that like they were a good couple or anything, like
Okay,
or
that's
that
fair.
they because like they just didn't seem to be. I mean, like they had that one kiss or whatever, but like the rest of the time
Yeah.
they just like seemed like good friends. To me, it's like
Yeah.
where did this romantic relationship come out of? And it didn't even feel that romantic. It just was like
Yeah.
yeah,
It
I
was
don't
just an
know.
entanglement.
It was just an entanglement. Oh no, not an entanglement.
Yeah.
Um,
You heard it here, folks.
what was like the most confusing part for you, or like or the part you liked the least?
Well, how can I say the whole movie was confusing? Like for
Oh
real, like
yeah,
like this movie was all right, but it was still somewhat confusing. Like, all right, what's going on here? Like, what the hell's going on there?
yeah.
You
How
know?
did you feel about the two cops, Tyrese Gibson and Al? I forget the other guy's name, Al something. How did
Yes.
you feel about that?
I mean, it was all right, but like I said, I guess they probably did this for something. I mean, they could have been better. If I remember correctly, the Tyrese's character is someone from the comics, I believe, but I
Yeah,
forgot the name.
yeah. He's like some CIA agent that like works for the NYPD or like in partnership with them to like
Yeah,
he like hunts down like people like Morbius and like Venom, um,
yeah.
but like uh, so
I
like
mean, I believe they did mention him. They did mention Venom with the Easter saying this
hmm
thing happened at San Diego because I
yeah,
think they must have
San
saw.
Francisco, yeah. They were
Yeah,
like,
San
this is the
Francisco.
craziest thing that happens in San Francisco.
Yep.
So he was like somewhat involved in the at least the after effects of the what happened in Venom, I would assume.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I just thought like, I mean, for me, like the only important characters were obviously like Milo, Morbius,
Mm-hmm.
and then like everyone else kind of just like their roles
Was
just
just there.
didn't make sense. Like when they were
Yeah.
interrogating uh Martine in her like hospital
Yep.
bed, like they just like
Mm-hmm.
bring up Morbius out of nowhere. Kind
Yeah.
of, they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you work for Morbius." That's kind of weird, and it's like, wait, what?
Right.
They like
Yeah. I
imply
was
that
like,
weird thing.
yeah.
And then like, I don't know if you caught this. The one of my, again, I don't like this movie at all. Um, one of the weirdest things to me was Morbius in that like they interview Martine or whatever and like bring up the Morbius thing. Then they go straight to the hospital or whatever or the building that Milo owns to talk to Morbius, even though he's not a suspect and wasn't involved in this at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to interview him or whatever, or interrogate him, and then they hear the people say, "Oh yeah, there's a nurse. Her blood was sucked dry or whatever." Same mo that happened on the ship. Then they go, "Oh, it's him." So
It's him.
then, excuse me, sorry. They like say, "Yeah, we're gonna have to come with us," and he like pushes him over or whatever, and then like runs up and like launches himself up to the top of the building, and then he gets
Mm-hmm.
to the roof. Obviously, like in that next few seconds, he
Mm-hmm.
goes out the door and then he stands there for like a couple seconds. So it's been like a total of like from when he pushes them over to getting to the top of the building, it's like 20 seconds in between. And
Mm-hmm.
then he runs out of the building and he's like gonna like he's running towards the edge of the building. You think he's gonna like maybe leap to the next building or something to get away,
Yeah.
and then he just stops and then turns around and Tyrese Gibson's there, and he's just like there to arrest him. But it's been like 20 seconds and he launched himself up the building. And the other guy I looked, he's not supposed to be like a metahuman or have powers. He's just some FBI agent. So it's like, how the hell did he get upstairs in 20 seconds to stop this guy and like arrest him? And I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like this whole movie was just confusing. You know.
Tell me what you thought about the post-credit scene, because that's the thing that I think people hate the most. Maybe
this was like the most confusing post-credit scene ever. Like I feel like they just kind of ruined Vulture's character. They pretty much just ruined him, I think.
Yeah. How corny was that line he delivered in the first one, where he transports into the scene? Do you remember what he says?
Fuck, what was it? How did I get here, or what? I don't know. I forgot.
No,
I forgot.
Goes,
yeah, refresh me.
He goes, I hope the food's better in this place.
Oh yeah, damn. I hope the food's better.
And you're like, what?
Yeah.
He just got transported. Like, he just like literally materialized in a brand new universe, and that's the one thing he's gonna say. It's just so silly.
Oh, excuse me.
And then in the second one, after the thing I have a problem with the most is like Morbius just went on this big old journey to be a hero, and then he, in the post-credit scene, meets up with Vulture, who we know is not a good guy, and then he's like talking about.
They don't know. Yeah, but in that universe, they don't know he's a bad guy.
No, absolutely not. But I guess that's one way to look at it that I didn't actually.
If you think about the reason why they let him go is because he hasn't done nothing wrong in that universe.
No,
they have no proof of his criminal intent, of him stealing all the Star Tech, and who knows.
Yeah,
pretty much from what I could understand from this post-credit scene, from like the videos that I saw, or at least some of the stuff that me and my relative talked about. Like this is like pretty much them setting up a Sinister Six for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I never think of it that way, as a like Vulture's gonna like manipulate him to like be part of this Sinister Six, and like even though he's not a good guy, he's like gonna convince Morbius that he is, because he does say that line. He goes like, hey, we could do some real good together, and so like he kind of plays it off like in a manipulative like way like that. That actually makes me feel a bit better about that scene. Now that you mention it, because like I just looked at it and went, that just negates everything Morbius just did.
Yeah, it does, because like Morbius is not really much of a hero. He's more of like a anti-hero vigilante.
Yeah.
Type person. He doesn't go out and kill people per se. I mean, obviously what he did in this movie, but yeah. But obviously, what we could explain more about what happened to the Vulture. Obviously, the Vulture got transferred with the Doctor Strange's spell, pretty much, which is really weird. Which is, what's the point of him actually getting transferred? Like, why a lot of people, why him?
Like why not Happy, or why not Ned or something like that? You know what I mean? Why was it him in particular?
Yeah. So the good thing about the post-credits is that they kind of like reamped his suit as well. If you remember how his suit's now.
Yeah, that was actually kind of a little bit more better. I like it. Yeah. He probably just has access to like more technology there, or he's like able. I don't know how he got it, actually, to be honest. Maybe, who knows? That's actually a good question to think about for the future. Maybe we could do another video on that or something. How did Vulture get his new suit in this new universe, sort of thing? We can do that a couple weeks down the road or something.
Yeah.
What if you had to take a guess, just a quick stab at it? What would you think?
I mean, I would say maybe he had like a secret storage, or maybe he stole something. Who knows? Who knows? It's really interesting. Like, I don't know what he would grab. Maybe he does have like a storage, somewhere where it has his name or something.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I don't know if that's the case, because maybe not the storage thing, just because he's not from the universe, but like, he's stealing it. That would make sense for him. Yeah. I'm trying to think like who would have had access to that technology in this universe, because.
Well, if we think about it, the universe over here, I think it might be in, well, it is in the Venomverse. Yeah. Kind of, because,
Exactly, yeah.
So it has to be maybe in the Garfield's universe, maybe?
I want to say it's, Andrew Garfield's universe.
Because if I remember correctly, most of the Easter eggs from what I saw, they mentioned a little bit of Tobey Maguire's, uh, Easter eggs. There was a
Yeah,
little bit of a Daily Bugle logo from the original Spider-Man,
yeah,
and then another logo from, you know, and
yeah,
then and one they mentioned that Spider-Man fights Rhino, which is another Easter egg to Garfield's
yeah. That's true.
Spider-Man.
They
So yeah.
they also had in the trailer they had that scene. Daniel Espinosa, the director, talked about this, and he was like
Mm-hmm.
talking about how they put the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
in one of the shots of Morbius walking around, and then he
Yep.
like said, "Yeah, I don't know why they included that. I didn't choose for that." It makes me wonder
Mm-hmm.
if No Way Home made them obviously because of delays, because of COVID and stuff, everything got shifted around. So like Multiverse of Madness was
Yep.
supposed to come first. This was supposed
Yep.
to come before that. So like, who knows what the original plan was? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe the original plan was to have Tobey Maguire or it be a part of Tobey Maguire's universe, and then like
Mm-hmm.
build further into that, or because of the fan outreach about wanting Andrew Garfield back, they've decided, oh,
Yeah.
we should put it in his universe, and that's
Yeah.
maybe why
And I
that scene
think
got scrapped.
yeah,
Or
I think Garfield's gonna get his third movie, I believe, because people are fingers crossed.
give it to us.
Garfield is, yeah, Garfield is the third one because I mean, come on,
He delivered the best performance in that movie,
yeah, he did.
arguably. It wasn't even
Mm-hmm.
his movie to do it in, but he did it.
Yeah, I mean, he is Spider-Man after all, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think. Obviously, there's like a lot more I could shit on in this movie. My least favorite scene from it was the train platform scene when Milo's running in slow motion and he looks like a
yeah,
fucking middle school boy who doesn't know what he's doing. Because he's like
like
running and he's like, ah, and you're like, this
yeah,
is so cheesy. Yeah, I hated that
like
scene
bro,
the most.
you're not a speedster.
This is, it was in slow mo, and I think it was the
Yeah,
worst use of slow mo I've ever seen in my life because his running form was actually so bad. If you rewatch
yep,
the if you've watched the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. His
yep,
form,
I
he
do.
looks like he's a goofy. I can't even describe what it actually looks like without saying like
Yeah,
other than the middle school boy who's like on the track team for the first time and has never run in his life. His mom made him
yeah,
try out.
yeah, yeah. It's like you can do it, baby. Run like the wind.
He's just like,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, um, is there anything else that you really, really hated about this movie that you want to get off your chest before we finish up here?
I mean, it was like I said, the movie was all right. I mean, it explained a lot more of his powers, what he could do, what he cannot do.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I just wish there was like a little bit more storytelling, a little bit more, straightforward. So just like leap to this one part and then go to this next part. Like,
yeah.
you know,
It did feel really weirdly paced. You're right. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Because like at some points it was like way too slow and it dragged it out, and then other times it like
yeah,
pushed it way too fast. Like the whole third act was like, what? Where did all this come from? why is
exactly, yeah,
why is Milo killing people all of a sudden, like
yeah,
including like his friends and family sort of thing, like what, and
exactly,
why does he hate Morbius, like what the fuck,
mm,
like
yeah.
yeah, it just all
I
came
mean,
fast out of nowhere.
yeah, because Sony, this is not Sony's best, step
Nah,
up, but maybe they could redeem it from it if they do a Sinister Six, or at least maybe another
yeah,
Garfield movie. Who knows? But
who
yeah,
knows, you're right,
if this movie
we'll
flops
see.
really bad, then I think they're just gonna scrap the project of him in the Sinister Six.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see.
Because from what I could, they won't kill off the Vulture because they're like, oh yeah, he never got transferred over there. That post credits never happened.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, who knows? I mean, we also don't know, the one thing that we don't know that's hard to speculate on is why Doctor Strange's spell is sent him there, and how many other people that did that to, because
Yeah,
it's not certain. And this, like, you'd assume that everybody just got sent back to their normal universe, but now we're like,
yeah,
oh, the Vulture from the normal timeline just got sent way over here for no reason, but there is a
yeah,
reason, we just don't know. So
yeah.
it'll be
Yeah, I
interesting to
mean, I'm
see.
kind of like surprised, like, why did that affect him? Like, I
Yeah,
get he's a Spider-Man villain, but like, out of all people, why
yeah,
him?
he's supposed to be on that Earth. You know what I mean? Like, so if something got messed up when he wrote the spell, maybe there's something that we didn't see in that final scene that came into fruition that they'll explore in Multiverse of Madness, or maybe it's something that happens in Multiverse of Madness that causes that shift. Like he has to redo a spell, and that's what messes it all up and sends people just all across the world, all across the multiverse, sort of thing. Who knows? I don't know.
Or maybe he will. Okay, the spell's done now. I could just go back home and just have horrible nightmares.
That would be such a anticlimactic movie.
Right.
Oh man.
Either way, yeah, we are looking forward. We are looking forward to the multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
Before we end this, what do we give this on the Ultra rating film?
Oh goodness. I'd have to give it like a 1 or a 1.5 for watchable, almost, but not unwatchable. Like not completely unwatchable.
Nice. I'll one up you. I'll be nice. I'll give it a 2.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I think you liked it more
I'll
than
give
me.
it a 2.
That's okay though. Yeah, it's.
I didn't say I liked it. It's just like it was all right. It could have done better, but it was, you know.
Yep.
Would I go watch it again? No. Would I spend my hard-earned money on it? Hell no.
Ever, never, ever, ever. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's pretty much our review. I'm sorry if you had high hopes for it. I did too. I honestly wanted this movie to do well. I thought I was going to walk into the film, the critics were going to be wrong. Critics were right on this one. Sorry.
But, we have to wait and see what the audience scores on it.
Yeah, I think it's surprisingly high, like 60s. And I was like, what the hell? That doesn't... I don't know why so many people are liking it that much, but I guess, I don't know. It is what it is.
They are probably just a casual fan saying, oh, okay.
Yeah. There's as we're getting like more critical of films and like reviewing more shows and TV, I think we're all, me, you, and Dylan are all getting a bit harsher on certain things. So, which is true. Yeah, you know, normal. We're being more intent about it and like actually looking at the themes and what's going on with character development and going, yeah, that's really good on this project, but this was really bad on this one, or whatever it is, you know. So.
We're learning. We're leveling up into the process of being the ultimate critics.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty soon we're gonna destroy Rotten Tomatoes and their critics.
We'll have our own review site. We'll launch our own review site on our website, and where fans can actually share their real opinions without. We'll be the new Rotten Tomatoes. I'd be down to do something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, well, we could do that somewhere in the future.
Yeah. But anyways, I think that's all we've got for Morbius. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of us talking about it more than the actual film. If not, that's really sad.
Unless we spoiled the movie for you. Unless you didn't go see and just saw, oh, here's our review. Let's just talk about it.
If you decided not to formulate your own opinion on this movie, I guess I can't blame you for it. If I had known how bad it was, I really wouldn't have gone. But I kind of had to do it for this channel, obviously. So it is what it is. We have a couple other videos, obviously, the Irresponsible Comic Book Podcast. I have it plugged up in that corner. We do that every single week, so go listen to the latest episode of that. We talk about Moon Knight, Young Justice, Blue Beetle, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, like the actual books. So we cover a lot on that. Then we have another episode coming out on Wednesday next week, so we'll film another episode on Wednesday next week. Sorry. Sorry.
That's fine.
You don't get to see it unless you subscribe to our Patreon, which we'll have more details on here soon as well. Go follow all our socials. They'll be in the description as well. And that's all we got for you.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Till next time.
Peace. Adios.